Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Comes to you live from our company couch here in the outskirts, and it's the Gaming Saloon Reviews for March 30th, 2025, which our host is Bear2448 and Run Up Salon.
Hi.
It's our very last drive thing.
I don't know how to feel about that.
I mean, we could watch Brain, but it's like 10 minutes, I think, if that.
I mean, we could. We'd just have to find other stuff to go with it.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, it's the Heart and Mock V Cinema that is together, even though they are named separately.
And fun fact, I did put it in the title for the video in the order that it technically is. It's funny because, you know, it's actually in reverse order. The way the stream title is actually accurate.
Yep.
It just depends on which way you're trying to find it, though.
Yeah. But it's Mock and Heart, and they get a V Cinema together, and one of these is definitely shorter than the other one.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the Heart one clocks in at like less than a half hour, and then the Mock one is the full hour.
What's bad is it feels like the other way around. Because we do nothing in the Mock one.
And he also gets the worst suit.
Yeah.
Even though I know people rag on the Heart Rider suit.
Which one? I have to say
one,
it.
not the proper one, not Speed Wild technique.
Which I love that they paid that gag off. They did not have to, but they did. No,
Yeah,
I think my only problem is with the Mach 1. Towards the end of the Mach 1, there's a thing that implies other stuff, and it's kind of one of those, come back here and explain.
No. Now I know which thing you're thinking of. I thought it was an earlier thing in that one.
Nope. Nope. Because the rest of it can all be explained away. There's one simple thing that cannot. Which that unravels the explanation that you could have for the other stuff involved.
But yeah, these V Cinemas debuted November 16th, 2016. The Heart half of this was written by Riku Sanjo. The Mock half was Keiji Hasegawa. Hidenori Ishida directed both halves. So, any thoughts before we get into a recap?
No.
All right, then. We kick off 2 years after the series and 1 year after one of the times Shinosuke and Kiriko got married. Don't worry about that part. Goes back from hopscotching the world, learning, and he's with Kyu and Rina in whatever hole in the wall that they have put themselves in to make a lab to revive Chase.
Because that totally won't go wrong at all.
Yep. They've been working themselves to the bone. Goes basically out of it. But they think they've got it. And so he slots in a blank Trideron key that will magically turn into the Harderon key or shift card here in a bit for reasons. Don't ask. until the body transforms and it's Chase's clothes on Heart because they revived Heart and Brain and Medic because the other two are in the shift car and they can swap around who's in control. It physically does not change. It's Heart the entire time, but the other two are kicking around as voices.
Which, you know, they did actually kind of miss a thing they could have done with that.
Oh, what?
They could have actually made it change body and all.
That would require to pull the two of them onto set for this, like, throwaway bit, apparently.
Yeah, because it did not last long.
No. Shenanigans ensue and such. Eventually, we find out that there is a Roidmude off targeting former Roidmude hosts or connective people. I don't know what you would call them. And leaving them comatose. So eventually, Heart gets teamed up with Oda for the rest of this movie, and Oda has a kill switch that will freeze Heart because he doesn't trust Heart. Which, to be fair, probably was a smart idea to put in a kill switch to start with. Regardless.
But to this, that makes you wonder too. If they were intending on bringing Chase back, why would they have needed a kill switch?
I have no idea, to be honest.
Yes, for those wondering, the kill switch is plot convenience.
Yeah. Anyway, the two of them run around, ask questions, and try to figure out what's going on. All the while, and the slow-mo of them running around, the harder on shift car is just flopping up and down on the brace because that thing was thrown together in like 5 minutes as a prop. Also, it doesn't get named in show. I just know it because that's the name of the toy. And yes, it's a Trideron repaint.
But
I guess they felt...
You know, I almost have to wonder if this one is actually, like, printed with the brace. For two reasons. One, we never see it removed. But two,
True.
When he lifts it to transform, I don't think it looks the same as when Tamari does it with any of the shift cars. So I almost feel like this one was built together as one piece, and that's probably why it flops around.
Yeah, that sounds right. Because it should not function otherwise, considering how the belt normally functions, since it's never been removed. Anyway, Brain puts together that, oh, they're attacking our former host, and oh no, Medic's host is nearby, and so they go and fight the Roidmude, and his number turns out to be 5886, which is the sum of basically all of the Roidmude numbers, because they're fragments of all the other Roidmudes that have somehow survived and coalesced into this I Am Legion body, basically.
And I also love the fact that they made a whoops when they wrote that. Brain says it's when you add all of them from 1 to 108. Brain, if you add 0 to that, guess what? The number doesn't change. All you had to do was say that it was the sum of all 109, and there you go. But no, we forget about Chase again.
Chase's fragment data isn't in here. We can't revive Chase ever. It's just like how we can't revive Ankh forever.
But
they have to stay dead.
But you know what's bad? They missed the perfect tease to be able to hint that, you know, Tamari might actually be paying attention to this case. All they would have had to have done is said that, because as we find out in the mock part of it, Tamari and the cop that Chase copied are on the same team.
Yep.
That would have been the nice tie it all together thing, but no, we had to whoops and forget about that.
But Hart tries to fight the Red Mute in his gold form because we don't have the original suit because we painted the original suit gold, so there's no more original Hart suit. He's just gold forever now. Because I'm pretty sure he was gold in the Ghost miniseries.
To be fair, though, I think that would be fine. For one simple reason. I don't think we ever saw a Roidmead that had reached the ultimate evolution go back to their base form. They always went to the gold form. And if this is essentially the cores from the end of Drive, then that would make the most sense. That's one of those that is kind of one of those good on the show for continuity, but at the same time, yeah, they kind of had no choice in that one.
So they're having a rough time of it because the body is not built to fight. And they're like, okay, use Drive's data. And so they cobble together the speed wild technique form that Oda drew way back in the show. And the Roidmead proceeds to beat the shit out of him and start ripping parts of the suit off of him. Which that rarely ever happens. But they end up losing, I think also because Oda accidentally freezes them at one point in this fight.
Yep.
At the hospital, Oda's getting patched up. Hart is upset. They fight a bit and bicker, and then Hart leaves and then runs into Tamari. And Tamari's like, you need to learn the lesson of having the heart to, fight for the right things. Bye. And that's basically Tamari done for this V Cinema. For this half of the V Cinema, mind you. I love how Tamari and Kiriko just get bit rolls in this, and they're barely here.
I mean, they've got more important things to do.
Yeah. Eventually, Oda figures out, they'll go after my mentor, and so he heads to protect his mentor. Hart follows. It's talk, fight, stuff until Hart's like, I've learned my lesson, and he finally transforms into his drive form, or his rider form, with Brain and Medic helping out because they need the extra power. Unfortunately, it will kill them all, and they're like, well, let's go down swinging together. And so we get technically Rider Heart, but it's also technically Type Miracle. It is, I assume this is basically the Trideron suit with some extra bits from the Heart suit, and then a new helmet that gives him big stupid horns that he normally has.
I'm pretty sure you're right on that one.
And so Hart, Brain, and Medic do their fancy special moves on the Roidmead, send it kaboom, and then die, leaving the body behind. And Brain cracks a joke about, next time I'll get to be a rider. Lo and behold, like 3 years later, he gets to be a rider in like a 20-minute special. Granted, Medic also joked at the end of that one, and we haven't gotten the Medic one yet, which is sad. Also, 005, which was like the core of this Legion, got away, and that leads us to the second half. But first, how do you feel about the Heart part of this?
It was good for comedic purposes, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I feel like should be what the V Cinemas are for. They really shouldn't be to drive the story forward. They should just be, we want to do this silly story that may or may not tie in with the rest of it. This is our way to do it.
I like it more when they are just fun side stuff, and it's like, here is a new suit to sell a new toy, and that's about the short and long as we get, because those don't feel like they feel like they're better in quality most of the time, because whenever they try to get serious and stuff, and be like, oh, here's the real story. I'm like, you failed 90% of the time.
Well, I mean, case in point with this one. Truthfully,
very-
even for the mock side of it, do we really even need to know what happened here for the mock side to make sense?
Yeah.
The only plot that gets carried from here to the mock one is the fact that Gen and Rena have an argument and she throws the ring at him.
Yep.
That's the only thing that even ties these two together. Otherwise, they could completely stand alone on their own and also both be completely omitted and it'd be fine.
Mhm. Yeah, I could definitely say I was checked out less during the Heart one than I was the Mock one. The Mock one, especially when Mock and whatever her name is, because I haven't even bothered to remember her name, are trying to like be a couple. I'm like, you guys have no chemistry, and I absolutely do not care about this relationship. There is nothing going on here that I care about. Shall we get to that second half?
I guess we shall.
All right. And our second half, Go is visiting Reiko, who was the girl that gaslit him and made him go crazy. Well, crazier than usual. Way back in like the middle of the show. She's getting off on probation and Go's trying to like start dating her because they hit it off in the mock novel. Because by the way, if you're confused on why they specifically say she was involved in 2 incidents, that's because that second one is the mock novel that has never been officially translated or even fan translated in any capacity, I believe. So all I know is that in that novel we get Super Dead Heat Mock, which is a blend of bits of mock suit or like some mock colored shoulder pads and a helmet, and then the rest of it is the Machine Chaser body. That is the only thing I know about that novel. Which, to be perfectly honest, sounds like a better suit than we got in this show or in this V Cinema. Anyway, Go tries to do big fancy thing for Reiko. It scares her off because she doesn't feel like she deserves it, but leaves some gloves behind that Go picks up, and then Go goes to Kiriko and it's like, what did I do wrong? And Kiriko's like, you were trying too hard. Stop it. Be normal, you dumbass. Go smaller. You just started. Also, Edgy's here as a baby. But at this point, Reiko's apparently gone missing, or Reiko notices her gloves are missing. And then she gets a message from Go, but when she gets there, it's a dead body. And as we'll find out later, the Roidmute's copied her dad, who was the guy from the Proto Drive special, I believe, from the start of the show, if I recall correctly.
Yep.
But basically, he's doing some copycat murders and having Reiko kind of take the blame for it in order for her to solve it before more people die. But Go eventually hears about this and ends up like having to try to like keep Reiko away from police. Tamari ends up eventually intercepting Go and tells him like, "Hey, just calm down for a minute," and then Go's like, "No, I don't wanna." And thankfully, Tamari was smart enough to slip a signal bike on him.
Yep, and here's
like,
the start of the problem.
Yep.
Like this is the start of the problem. I'll wait though before I go off on it.
Go and Reiko hold up one place. Go tries to apologize and tries to help, but Reiko's like, no, and then like maces him, I think, or knocks him out with something before she fucks off, because it's like, well, there's one way to end this, and that's ending my life, so I'm gonna go do that. And that's when the cop that Chase Cop Beach shows back up, and it's like, hey, Go, I'm here to help because I'm on the same special investigations team as Tamari. Here's your bike, a spare driver, and your gun.
And there's the remainder of it. So, literally, I could be like, okay, Rena probably just reversed engineered all of this. Between her and Hurley, I would say that all of them have the data on being able to replicate the bike, the driver, the gun.
Mm-hmm.
Where did the signal bike come from? Did Krim literally come up and say, hey, Go needs this, give this to him?
Well, we know that Go had Chase's signal bike at the end of the series.
But this doesn't appear to be a replica. This appears to be the original.
Accurate.
That is sealed. Which, if that's the case, then that would also imply that both the gun and the bike are the originals too. It still does not necessarily mean that the driver is.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to my problem of them being like, oh, Krim's got to steal up his technology and so nobody gets the core driver technology. Okay, cool. Everyone's going to show back up eventually as a rider, so we have to explain where they get their shit from.
And see, that's the other problem too. If we had the mock chaser form as the only form that Go had,
mm-hmm. Yeah,
that would be fine. That is a different, I guess you would say, shift car.
I forget what it's. I think it's I forget what it's even called.
Because the driver recognized it as both.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, I guess shift car. But that's one of those, it's a completely unique one, so we could say that it was developed afterwards.
Yeah.
That would be perfectly fine. That could even have been the thing that could have been like, okay, Mach doesn't have his signal bike. The closest thing he's got is this, which is based off of Chase's and whatever they might have had from the driver, kind of deal. The fact that we've got Ghost signal bike is where it's like, okay, if that's the case, then why didn't Krim also give the driver and everything to Tamari at this point, and us actually see something else come out of this as well?
Yeah. Also, it's a shift ride crosser. It's technically a shift car. Blech.
But that's what I kind of figured it technically would be. Mm-hmm. But the ride crosser is not on par with that, so it's like, But yeah, that's just one of those, I'm like, no, come back here, explain. All it would have took was, instead of it coming from Rena, it coming from Krim.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have solved it all right there. Because don't get me wrong, she's good. I don't think she was going to replicate a signal bike. Especially a signal bike that we know she didn't have that much information about in the series. Because she had to do some pretty deep evaluation of the driver to even be able to make chases.
Yeah.
So that told me she didn't have all of that information at her disposal. I'm like, did we not pay attention? But yeah, that's the gripe that I have with that.
But Go punches the cop and rides off. The cop's like, "Wait, I have one more thing to give you," and then we see him pull out the ride crosser, and it flashes real quick, and we'll cut back to later.
It flashes his eyes purple.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, Go arrives at where the next killing's going to happen. Tries to stop it. He only gets so far because Reiko's tied up, and then he almost gets hung and killed, even though he should be dead, but he's not.
Yeah.
But this is when the cop, who apparently I guess is possessed by Chase or some fragment of Chase's data or something. Fucking, I don't know. He shows up with the ride crosser, hands it to Go. Go uses it to go mock Chaser. Which is such a terrible repaint of basically Chaser mock from the show.
Yes and no. It's at least a more consistent paint.
Yeah, but I still don't like it.
It's not very blatant, two suits being smashed together, so that's where I'm like, did I like what we had in the show more? Yes. Did work? Yeah, because it kind of blends better, but it was too much of a change is the problem.
Yeah, and either to integrate the colors more and probably get rid of the middle stripes, because the middle stripes are fucking pointless, because I don't know where the fuck those middle stripes colors are coming from.
You don't?
Like the orange one, no. The purple one, I'm like, okay, that's Chase. Why the fuck is there orange here?
That's red.
Is it red? I
Yeah,
thought it was.
That's red.
Am I misremembering?
You've got the pictures linked up above. That's red.
Okay.
The stripes are
Yeah, but
Chase
those are
and
red.
mock. Those would have
Okay.
been fine.
Hmm.
The problem's the blue. Neither suit
the
had
dark.
blue.
Yeah, why is this? Yeah, that.
Why did
Yeah.
we think blue was the logical step here?
Especially a dark blue. That's present in none of their suit designs
Yeah.
anywhere.
What they should have done should have been left most of the armor pieces white.
Hmm.
Change maybe the tire and some of the trim to be in the purple.
Hmm.
That way it would signify both of them. And
Yeah.
that would make more sense.
I also feel like you should put more budget into this and actually made some ride crosser inspired armor on this, but there isn't that much to work with, to be perfectly honest.
Because the biggest problem with it is the case of it is using most of Chase's suit
Yeah.
with the top and helmet of Mox.
Hmm.
And they leaned into neither one of them's color schemes.
Yep.
Because that's the bad thing. And I'm sure someone would be like, well, Mock has blue on him. Yes, a light blue. Not a dark blue like that.
Mm-hmm.
That was too much. Granted, dimly lit final fight area there, it doesn't look as bad.
Yeah.
But if that was a form that we're gonna see outside of this 1v cinema, then yeah, no, that's no.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Go gives this form. He beats up the Roid Mute. He saves Reiko. Unfortunately, he gets arrested, but I guess cleared of anything because they clear up what all happened during all of this. And then him and Reiko go off to date or something. I don't fucking care at this point. And that's where we end on this V Cinema. So, how do you feel about the block half?
I feel like the V Cinema needed to come back and explain some things. And it said no.
I feel like we should have stopped the Chase one and maybe the Heart one, but we did need a Mach one.
Or we did need a Mach one, but not in the way we got it.
Yeah.
It almost feels like the Chase one was a given. The Heart one was probably more of a case of they wanted to do another one. And the Mach one was kind of a point of they have to do one for the secondary kind of deal.
Yeah.
And I think that's how that turned in.
It's not like in Ghost Case where I'm like, you did a V Cinema correctly, except you picked the wrong person to be the protagonist. And so you had to retcon a whole bunch of shit to make him the protagonist. Because why the fuck is Spectre the main character of that V Cinema when everything about that plot says that Necrom is the main character? Or should be the main character? And they absolutely retcon Spectre and Canon's backstories for that V Cinema. I refuse otherwise to believe that they did not retcon bullshit to make that movie work. And further complicate their backstory. But yeah, these were fine. I didn't hate them, but like, the more we've gone back to V Cinemas, the more I've realized we've really squandered the V Cinema format. Because did you know that the Gotchard one's out?
No, didn't.
Yeah, it's been out. It's out. It's been out for a while, and I'll be honest, I don't care. Even though I like Gotchard, I'm like, oh, who's the main character of this V Cinema? Fucking Spanner? Dipshit fucking Spanner? Oh, fuck off, I don't care. Like, he's the main protagonist, and he gets his GT custom that is like sub-zero budget, it feels like, for what should be his V Cinema, even though it's technically Gotchard cast V Cinema. But I'm like, no, you're the main character because it's a time loop story and you're trying to break the time loop. I'm like, where's my Jade V Cinema? All right, we can't have that, but we'll give her the Girls Remix special. And I'm like, that thing's gonna be half the runtime, half the budget, and will be way more entertaining. Because you chose the correct character to do something extra with instead of the wrong character to do something extra with. Especially when they decided, oh yeah, we're not going to use anything extra on top of like his final form that he got in series at the end. Because the GT is built on base Valvarod, not Kuragane Valvarod. I mean, Kuragane is a fucking waste. But yeah, I guess that'll cap off our looks at Drive. Yay. We do, in 2 weeks, start our run through of Futo PI. I think like it's like 12 episodes of it. Let me double check. It is not very long. We will knock it out in like three shows. Yeah, it's 12 episodes and then the Skull movie. So like it'll be 4 episodes for us. Are you excited?
Kind of.
It'd be nice to be back with Double, even though this isn't quite where we last left off Double, kind of. It feels weird to watch it, and I'm like, okay, cool, they're keeping it standalone stuff, but I'm like, also trying to reintroduce Double since it's a new format and stuff for them. So it's like, okay, here's the re-debut of Fang Joker, and here's the re-debut of Extreme, and I'm like, they certainly are treating these things as new when they're not. Because they also don't get into the things that are exclusive to that manga, which is Fang Metal and Fang Trigger, because they didn't get to those parts of the manga when they adapted it. But yeah, in 2 weeks we'll start watching that. But between now and then, I was about to say Thursday, but wait. Wednesday, I will be live for the Switch 2 Direct at whatever time it is in the morning, because I think it's in the morning. Do we have a time for it?
I don't think they've gave a time yet.
Okay. Oh, no, they have. 9 o'clock Eastern. On April 2nd. So. At like 8:40-ish, I'll go live, and then we will be sitting down and watching the Direct together. I will also make sure to capture and have our points try to be updated live so you can see who's winning the predictions. I'm probably going to lose. But that's Wednesday. Thursday, I continue CAD. We should be finished with the Blade Chemi Thursday. I did an extra thing off stream because I had thought about it, and I'm like, ooh, I want to try that real quick. And it's not quite as big as I want it, but it's on there. I also had to make a couple adjustments that I realized I needed to. But we'll finish that up Thursday. Friday's a thing.
Yeah, I'm still not 100%.
And Saturday's the thing.
Yep.
And then next Sunday will be TGS, where we will sit down and talk about the Switch 2 Direct and the not Switch 2 Direct, amongst other things that probably came out in the last couple of weeks that I don't remember offhand. So if you like what you're feeling, folks, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Exclamation point YouTube and chat gives you the link to our YouTube archive where you can see all of our streams. Exclamation point social and chat gives the handles for all of our social medias. Exclamation point Discord and chat gives the link. Drop by, say hi. See you Wednesday, folks.